Hey everyone, this is episode 12 of the Casually Toxic Podcast. It is March 7th, 2018, and we are back with Ian and Cirrus. What's up, guys?
Hello.
We're back, boys.
We're back after, another 2 weeks?
Yeah,
no one's keeping track of the schedule.
We're a
right?
bi-weekly podcast, man. It is every 2 weeks.
Bi-weekly.
By the time shit comes out, who knows how long it'll be.
Right?
Bi-weekly plus or
year.
minus 3 with a standard deviation.
Listen, all right? We operate on our own time, okay?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, nobody can hold us to some fictional standard.
God can.
Okay, this is retarded.
Yeah.
What have we been doing?
Well, you played a lot of Vermintide. We're gonna drop Ryan games. We need the game cue music.
Yeah, there's a lot of games.
We have the news music, which is the do 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 do. What is the game music? Any suggestions?
I don't know. You're our musical expert.
I'm not.
There it is.
Ka-ching!
From
Says
our,
our producer Scotty.
Who isn't even mic'd up.
Nope, but all right. Ka-ching! Video games.
All right, man. So Vermintide 2, it's a video game, and you played it.
I played Vermintide 2 for 30 minutes and got a refund.
Ooh.
That is
Glowing
bad.
praise.
That is a bad
2
one.
thumbs up.
It's okay. Maybe it's good. It just really rubbed me the wrong way. To be
What kind of game is this even?
It's
I've
like-
never heard of it.
Melee, Left 4 Dead 2,
Yeah.
and the Warhammer universe. So, like, there are ranged weapons, but they're all, from what I saw, you have, like, pistols and crossbows. But generally, the thing that they push is, like, this riveting melee combat. And I played it, and I was just like, this feels strangely clunky.
Yeah, it does not. All right, so I haven't played Vermintide 2.
Yeah.
But I have played Vermintide 1. And
Mhm.
my main complaint with Vermintide 1 is that it's a hack and slash, right? But the slash doesn't feel good, nor the hack, honestly.
Yeah.
Neither part of the hack and slash feels good to me. It's just like there's no. Granted, I'm not super far in the game. You know, I'm like a couple hours in, 6 or so. Right?
Further than I got into Vermintide
Right.
2.
So it's like they just throw a million things at you, and you just get hit, and that just happens. Like there is no, if you're a better skill, I mean maybe there at some point there is, but it's like you're just getting hit, right? You have to melee them. You have a ranged weapon with only like 60 shots or something, and when 100 rats come at you,
What is the ranged weapon? Does Vermintide 1 work like Vermintide 2, where you pick a kind of hero or a class before? They're all like predefined heroes with names and like abilities and all that. That's how Vermintide 1 works as well.
Yeah. So for the most part, Vermintide 2 I think has classes that also add in specializations.
Yes, I think that's correct.
But Vermintide 1, as far as I know, it's just the classes, and you can kind of choose what weapon you want to use. But the ranged weapons are just... I don't know. I mean, if you try and use them exclusively or just to picking off things is the way to do it. So the majority of your killing is going to be done with a melee weapon, but it just honestly feels like you're just fighting a mob of things, and then they're going to hit you, and then you have to heal. It doesn't feel intense like Left 4 Dead does, where, if you're really good, you can go through the entire thing without getting hit or whatever. It just honestly feels like a stat check, because there's also, like, gear in the game.
Sure, and Vermintide 2 also has like the loot and like kind of the rarity tiers that a lot of other loot games have, where you have legendary items and all that. My initial complaint with it is just like, goes back to like the melee combat. I feel like I was just, and maybe this changes and there's more strategy as you get better at the game, but at least initially I feel like I was just swinging wildly, and that the range on the weapons was really arbitrary. Like I never knew if I was close or far enough from the enemy to hit it, and in most cases I would hit him no matter what, even if he was like 7 feet away.
It also depends. Yeah, like definitely the weapon. Like I know the flail has like a longer range than daggers, obviously. But
I was using some sort. I was playing like a pyro character that used a one-handed sword, a pistol, and then threw fireballs. This must be like a witch hunter type character, whatever that is in the Warhammer universe.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but I don't know, man. I mean, I see people playing it. I see the reviews. Everybody loves it, or not everybody, but you know what I mean. The majority of people love it, but it's just like it doesn't click with me, and I don't understand why. Because I really want to get into it, and I like the loot aspect of like a Left 4 Dead style of game, but it just doesn't feel good to play for me.
Yeah, I don't think that. I think a lot of the problem is that games in general. I can't think of any games that have first-person melee combat that really have nailed it.
Chivalry.
Chivalry, you can say like maybe did initially, but that did you ever see what happened to that game?
The
Like
pirates and shit.
no, just like the meta developed in the most insane way possible.
Oh, where you would aim at the toes?
Yeah, well, it's like aim at the toes, and there's
Yeah.
like frame checks, and people are just like, you do like 360 is exaggeration. We do like 360 like spins
It's
while
a fighting
like,
game, man.
but it wasn't. It like developed in a fighting game way where it's not like a traditional.
Yeah.
It's just like actually garbage to watch. If you ever like just want like stupid entertainment, watch like high end competitive chivalry, and it's just like actually watching garbage. It's very fucking weird.
Damn, that kind of sounds fun. Man.
But I guess that's the closest. But beyond that, and even that, I still don't think was fantastic. First person melee combat has always been kind of wonky.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to nail, but honestly,
GoldenEye.
yeah.
Gold
I've never played
Rappers
it.
only. That's like the greatest shit. Just karate chop.
Sure.
Man.
Yeah. If that's your reference as a game from slapping from 20 years ago, then I think I might have a point on this first person melee combat.
I don't know, man. It's just like it doesn't even have to feel fantastic. It just has to feel good, you know. And for a game that the majority of it is you're slashing people with a melee weapon, how does it not feel good to
Yeah.
me, you know?
I mean that yeah, like I said, the first 30 minutes, that's immediately what I ran into, and I was just like, I wanted a good loot grind game, but when that hit me in the face, like initially, just that melee combat, I was like, eh.
All right, so from Casually Toxic, Vermintide, 0 out of 10.
Whoa,
never buy
that's
it.
harsh.
Never buy it.
Vermintide 2 is a question mark out of 10 because I didn't play enough in terms of like first impressions. 3 out of 10.
It's pretty good, though.
First impression. Why don't game websites do first impressions?
I'm sure they do. I want to hear your impressions on The Division.
It's like a movie coming up with Jake Gyllenhaal. I think it's due for 2019. It's about a virus that.
Are you giving me this shit right now?
I mean, I'm serious.
Is there actually a movie?
Yeah, they're making a Division movie.
Like
It's Ubisoft.
based off the game?
Yeah, Ubisoft has a whole
Like
like.
they did for Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, they did for Assassin's
I
Creed,
kind of
and
forgot
now
they made an Assassin's Creed movie, to be honest.
most people did.
I mean,
But-
they made a Warcraft movie,
and
which was good.
Prince of Persia.
Oh, yeah.
Ubisoft
With Jake
didn't make World
Gyllenhaal.
of Warcraft though. It's just another video game movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not Ubisoft. Ubisoft, whatever.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, no, you initially hated The Division. Not hated. But,
I didn't hate it. I just didn't love it. It was like, yeah.
And then you fixed it.
Yes.
And I want to hear your journey. You tell me you're at endgame.
Yeah, I'm at endgame. I'm level 30. When you hit level 30, gear score is introduced, which is kind of normal for loot grind games to an extent. It's a little bit weird in this because like you never see gear score before level 30, and then all of a sudden all the weapons and gear you're picking up just has like a gear score on it.
That is kind of weird.
And it goes. I think the highest gear score you can get in the game is somewhere in the upper 200s.
Jeez.
And then the entire world that you play in has world tiers. So like world tier 0 is basically what you're playing in for throughout the story and while you're leveling, right? And then you reach end game, you start getting gear score, and then I think the next range is like 110 to 180, and that's like where I'm in.
Okay.
Basically. And there is some of the in-game content is paywalled. So like there's the underground,
Yeah, the
which is
DLC
like
or
the
whatever.
procedurally generated dungeons, which is really neat. And you kind of just grind, you kill stuff, you grind, but it's a satisfying grind. So that's really all I ever want out of
Right?
it.
And it's a grind, and you get loot, and it's
Yep,
satisfying.
yeah, and-
if only some other game that I feel like we just talked about had this kind of.
I know,
had this
right?
kind of thing.
It's because the gameplay in Division is satisfying enough. Even if I count the only nitpick, which is things we brought up before, which they have improved on, is kind of bullet sponginess and stuff like that, which is better now.
Right.
But that could be my only possible nitpick. It's really fun, like playing with your build, seeing your abilities interact with other players. Matchmaking is always, I still can't ever find anyone because I think everyone's in world tier 5, which is like
The
gear
highest.
score. Yeah, everyone's just like matchmaking there. So if you want to play with random people, you're basically fucked throughout the entire leveling.
You got to get
experience.
friends, man.
Yeah, no, we play online games. Who the fuck has friends?
I mean, I like to think we're friends, man.
Well, I know, but we hop games every 2 weeks. So
Alright.
like the chances of a
Fair
2-week
enough.
window lining up where we're playing the same thing is very slim.
I think what you're saying here is we need to all settle and just play RuneScape. The king of all MMOs.
Do you want to play modern RuneScape, or are we talking about old school?
Old school RuneScape. Old school. We're not some new. RS3 doesn't exist.
This is gonna be a real deep dive here. But why play RuneScape when you can play Tale of Toast? I wasn't even gonna talk about this game because it's a queue simulator.
What is it, dude? Honestly, I saw you launch it. I want to know what it is because I looked at the video and the thing that was supposed to sell me on the Steam page. I looked at it and I was like, "What is that?"
It's
and
like,
why would you play it?
If vanilla WoW, this is not gonna mean anything to so many people, but I'm gonna say anyway. It's like vanilla WoW met old school RuneScape. It's super whimsical graphics and other than that, you just grind, right? Like. You're in a big open area with like little details. It's just fucking fields of sheep and fucking ore and mobs, point? And you just fucking.
What the fuck? You said fuck a lot.
You pick up that fucking ore and then you make some armor and then you fucking shear the sheep.
Do we have a bleep machine? Should we put a warning before this podcast?
Could you like do that in post editing? Just like.
Beep? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, all the beeps.
I was looking at some noises. So when on our last podcast, you mentioned that you did your little news beep, right? Yeah. So I went to a site to find some noises.
Ooh, did you make like a little MIDI 8-bit file?
No, I didn't do any of them. But I wanted you to know I almost put a nuke in the middle of our podcast. Like, there's just
was it after something like someone?
Yeah,
said?
like it was like after an insult. I forgot what it was, but like. It's just I just go to the site and there's a million, I guess, free sounds that you can just download, and they sound good. And I was like, damn, somebody's gonna get nuked on this podcast. Like, it's gonna happen. I can fully understand radio shows where they go 100, 100, you know, or whatever the hell, and they have like 15 different noises. I can understand it because I would be that guy.
That's fair.
God, I mean, it was exciting.
So fucking Tale of Toast is like this fucking game where you like fucking kill stuff and you like level up and it's really dumb. It's really simple and it takes forever to progress. And you can spend 2 years getting to blacksmithing level 20 so you can, like, do some dumb shit. It's a dumb game.
Okay.
I love it. It's a 10 out of 10 for me.
Anything else you want to talk about Tale of Toast? Little-known game?
The characters are chibi.
Okay, here's a game that I want to hear about. I really want to hear about Into the Breach. Serious? You're our Into the Breach expert.
Here we go.
What the fuck
is it? Let's hear about it.
Into the Breach is a game that's made by the guys who made Faster Than Light. FTL.
Oh, cool.
It's similar to that. I didn't play FTL.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I played.
It was okay.
I played like.
I heard it was
3
awesome.
hours.
Yeah,
and
it's one of the beloved.
I was
indie
interested
games.
in it, but so this game's made by the same people, and some people say it's similar to Advance Wars. I don't think it's that similar, but it is like on a grid. It's like a turn-based strategy game that you play.
Is it a grid or is it like the hex tiles?
No, it's a grid.
Okay.
4 sides. Squares.
Gotcha.
And the maps are only ever like 9x9 like size. They're like really small, and they're like all these individual scenarios. You play with 3 mechs that all have different abilities, and you have to kill the aliens and survive.
Hell yeah, fuck aliens.
And
you have
like buildings on the map, so you have to protect the buildings.
Is it kind of like XCOM-esque or
kind of? There's no like % chance to hit any of your weapons. So like. You so the people that you start with, right? The beginner guys, you have one guy that's like an artillery cannon that pushes, like it hits somebody, does damage and pushes them back like 1 square, and then you have the guy like who like does a punch, but like he has to be like in your face and he punches you back 1 square, and then you have the other guy who like he's an artillery I think, and he like pushes people away. So like moving the enemy is like a big deal because like the main thing of it is that you can see what the enemy is going to do before you move your mechs. Mm-hmm. So it'll like put the enemy in a position to say like this guy wants to attack this building, this guy wants to attack your mech, this guy's moving over here, this guy's doing this. So then you get to counter them once you've seen what they do.
So you see what they do in advance, essentially?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you see like 1 turn ahead what they're gonna do.
That's pretty cool.
This looks really cool. I was just looking it up.
It's a lot of fun. It has like the roguelite elements. So you have those 3 mechs, and you get 1 pilot to take with you every time you lose to the next game that you play. And the pilots level up and get bonuses like +2 health or +3 grid defense or stuff like that.
How do you go from like battle to battle? Is there an overworld? Or
yeah, there's
an
overworld.
just, like...
You just kind of click on the missions.
Okay, so
so the way that it works actually is so that's like a big mechanic is you play the missions like right when you pick your squad. There's 4 islands, when you start the game, you can only pick one, but once you've been to an island, you could start at that one and go in any order that you want. So you pick an island that you want to start on, and then you have a choice of like 2 to 3 missions that you can do. And then it shows a map of the island. Yeah. Every time you do a mission, you unlock the adjacent missions to it, like on the geography of the island.
So there could be like 2 or 3 adjacent missions.
But what you do is before you pick the mission, you see what your rewards are. So there's 2 main things that you get from missions. It's reputation and grid power. And so reputation is basically just currency. And grid power is like your life. It's like stays within every mission. So like you start the game with like 5 HP, and if you lose 1 that game, you start the next mission with 4 HP. And it only goes up by getting grid power.
Okay.
Which you can purchase with currency, but you can only purchase stuff once you complete an island.
Do you just like encounter like a traveling merchant or something that sells things?
So what happens is once you complete enough missions, I don't know exactly, I can't think of how many it is, maybe like 4 or 5 missions, so that there's only 3 possible missions left to do on the island. It stops it, cuts it off, and then you have to fight the boss. So that's why you have to kind of manage like what missions you want to do, because like, oh well, this mission will give me 2 rep and this one will only give me 1, so I'd rather do the 2 one, while I have the chance, because I'm not going to be able to do every mission. And then you have to fight the final boss of that island, and the boss is usually like a guy who just does like big damage. And you have 2 missions on the final boss. One is like protect the like HQ, and the other one is kill the final boss. But they're optional missions. All the missions, like to get the rep and the grid power, are optional. As long as you survive, you keep going.
Huh. Gotcha.
So you can go. You just get like a really low score, and without the currency, you don't buy. So the big thing is reactor cores that like give your mechs like power upgrades, like more movement, more health, more damage on their attacks, and like sometimes they get like special skills you can put on your pilots. Like a pilot can like his mech can move twice if he doesn't move with either of them, so you can just attack twice in the same place. Or like I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff you can put into the.
How do you get power cores or whatever?
So you can randomly get them. Like when you start a mission, they'll just like fall from the sky and land in a square, and it's like if you have to get to that square and pick it up before an alien gets to it, because they'll crush it, or you protect the square and no one picks it up, and then you finish the mission. You get it at the end.
Huh.
And then also sometimes, rarely, there are missions that tell you straight up. Like when you're at the mission overview screen and you select the one that you want to do, it'll say like you get a power core for completing this objective, because you can finish the mission without doing the objective and you don't get the power core. It's usually like protect this specific building.
Cool. So it looks fantastic. Like
it's a lot of fun with a lot of replayability. Yeah. The squads are so different, and like I don't know, you feel like a genius when you're like staring at the screen and you're just like, there's no way I'm getting out of this shit. And you just like sit there for a couple of minutes and like really, really think about it, and then you're like, oh fuck, I know how to do it. And you like totally save, like nobody gets hit at all. It's like really good. It's a lot of fun.
Almost the direct opposite for that is Portal, because you'll look at a puzzle, and you feel like a genius for, at least personally, I feel like a genius for half a second, then I always feel like an idiot, because it's like the solution staring you in the face, and you're just like, oh, I'm dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
have you ever played The Witness?
No.
You should.
That's by the guy that did Braid.
Yeah. You should play The Witness. That's just like, in a lot of ways, the most satisfying puzzle game I've ever played, but it gives you that feeling of like, once you've done it, you're just like, this was so fucking obvious.
I don't know what it is about puzzle games, but it's like, I'll play them, and as soon as there's a puzzle that I have to think more than 10 minutes on, I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna go play League of Legends. Like,
usually that happens to me in a lot of puzzle games. It just depends how engaged I am with it, right? Like, The Witness demands a level of engagement that a lot of other puzzle games don't. And while playing that game, I know this is an old game, but it kind of parallels what you were saying. I had a complete like notebook, like 200-page notebook filled with like notes I took while
that's
playing.
Too much. That's too much.
You say it's too much, but like
no, I say yeah.
But also it's too much.
Yes, it is just too much.
It's not too much because it doesn't. You don't start off playing it like that, right? You put an hour into it, and
I don't want to finish playing it like that. Like. I don't want to have a notebook filled with things.
It's the first time I got to puzzles in a game, and like the 10-minute like frustration thing like didn't hit me because I was just like, I know I can do this, and I was engaging with it on a level that wasn't normally, because most puzzle games aren't really encouraged to pull out a notebook.
Yeah. But I think that's a good thing that most puzzle games don't encourage you to pull out a notebook.
I think that's
why.
Like
okay,
super
what was in
exciting.
the notebook?
So without spoiling too much, like all of the witnesses line puzzles, right? So sometimes it'd be like the solution would be a mirror of the line you drew, so it'd be the mirror flipped over, right? And in a lot of cases, it'd just be easier. You could do it. You could take a picture of it, and you could do other weird things. Like you could put it in paint or something, and then like flip the image that way. Or you could just take a notebook and just draw the mirror image of the line.
Okay.
So it's not like you're taking like fucking computer science notes or whatever. I have a notebook full of lines essentially.
So it just looks like a crazy person's
notebook. It looks like a crazy person's notes. And like now I still have that notebook, and occasionally like a friend or my significant other will like find it or whatever and open it and just be like, what the fuck is this?
I'm dating a lunatic. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like Into the Breach is more my style though, because I really like XCOM. And that kind of.
Did you like XCOM 2?
Yeah, I loved it. I like that.
I never played. I just heard people complain about the difficulty.
On the second one?
Yeah.
Huh.
People were just like, this game's fucking impossible. Why would I ever play this?
Impossible, but maybe I'm just that good. I'm not that good. I'm horrible. But Into the Breach seems like very.
And what platform is that? What platforms is that on?
I think it's just PC, right?
PC right now, as far as I know.
Just Steam. Do you know how much it was?
Well, it's on GOG. I got it for $15 because if you buy it on GOG, you get FTL for free also.
Ooh, have you played any of FTL?
No, I haven't. I've only been playing Into the Breach. I've played a lot of it.
Hey, have you beaten it?
Yeah, I beat it one time with the Rust mechs after 4 islands. You can beat the game after 2 islands or 3 or 4. And the boss scales, like the final mission scales to your level.
So what's the point of going longer if
higher score?
Oh, okay.
And you get an achievement, and an achievement gives you coins, and a coin will unlock the next mech team.
If you end up playing FTL, let us know, because I'd be curious to hear your impressions on that.
Yeah, I want to play it.
Because part of the reason why it was so beloved, or my theory is that it was near the beginning of like this indie game crowdfunded like revolution that happened. I'd just be really curious if it held up.
I think it will. I think I'll enjoy it a lot. I did like research into it when it first came out, and I was thinking about buying it, but I never did for whatever reason. But I think I would like it.
Sure.
That's why I got it on GOG.
Damn.
So you have been playing Fortnite?
Yeah, I kind of want to buy Into the Breach. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, he kind of sold me on it.
But $15.
I've been all right. I've been playing Fortnite.
And
listen, I was talking shit about Fortnite a while ago. All right.
Oh no.
I was talking
but
shit.
Then you won.
I was talking.
There'll still be one person that talks shit about Fortnite in this podcast.
I'm not gonna say it's.
You know, it was so nice when we lined up and agreed on something.
I'm not gonna say
it was really nice. I'm gonna savor that one podcast where we agreed on things.
It's not better than PUBG. It's just different. Okay, listen. I like playing aggressively.
Yeah.
Right? Fortnite definitely allows that.
Okay.
Now, I hate shooting somebody out in the open and being like, I can kill this person. Oh no, they just shat out a whole fucking building. Right?
Yeah.
I dislike
shitting out a building sounds accurate to what I witnessed when I watched that fucking game.
But it's like when you look at it and you go, okay, I mean, he has the option to shit out a building, right? How am I going to counter that? Well, you make your own building.
You
right?
shit out your own building.
Exactly.
So now you have 2 assholes shitting out buildings.
But it's not like you're sitting in just a fort. You know what I mean? Like.
No, because it doesn't look like a fort, because you just shit out random fucking pieces of a building.
You're not, whatever.
I'm going to let you speak. I'm sorry.
It's just like you can play aggressively, and then the building is like another form of combat, is how you have to think about it.
Yeah.
Because you have to go, okay, I mean, I can build a ramp just straight up, basically, and then get above this guy, right?
Yeah.
But if he shoots the connecting ramp that connects to the ground, right, my whole ramp fucking disappears, and I fall to the ground. So it's like, it's like, you know, you're out in the open. Okay, I have to shit out a fucking cover real quick, right? Do I have the resources for it? No, I don't. Well, this is a game over. And there's still things that I dislike about it. Like, even though I understand the building, I think there's too many materials that are present. Because it's just like everywhere. Like, it's not uncommon to end the game with 999 materials, right?
Yeah.
And I think they were in talks about potentially like, you know, trimming it down a little bit in terms of the building materials. But also, other than that, there's like bloom on some of the weapons. So even if you're aiming on somebody, I feel like there's like an RNG chance to just miss.
Weird.
Yeah, that bloom part? Is that just what you think, or is
that's what I think?
Okay,
I'm not going
that's how I think it's called hit scan works. Is like hit scan is not preferred because it does just have a percentage chance to miss. Like it's a more role play. It's something like Borderlands uses or Destiny, stuff like that.
Yeah,
and it could be using that model because to use a more accurate model requires higher tick servers, which is harder to program when you have 100 people in a match, basically.
Yeah, so I mean, while I'm playing it right now and I'm enjoying it, it's very much an arcadey version of PUBG.
Yes.
But it's quicker matches, and I don't know, like it is. The more I play it, the more I'm getting used to the building.
Sure.
So, like I said, I still enjoy PUBG more for the intensity, right? Because I've never. Like, my heart's never been beating as fast, even if I'm number 2 in Fortnite, right?
Yeah.
And it's not beating nearly as fast as if I'm fucking 1v1 in PUBG, right? But that being said, it's a harder game to play, but an easier game to win, if that makes sense.
Sort of, yes.
So like...
I guess I just, like, winning is my other issue with Battle Royales is I have to force myself not to think about it because it feels like such a bad way to play either game.
It is, but I mean, like, okay, so most gunfights to me in PUBG boil down to who has the better shot.
Yeah,
which also,
but winning in PUBG or I imagine Fortnite is actually just hiding from people forever. And letting people kill each other, at least at low levels.
I feel like that's more PUBG.
Yeah, you can't hide in
Okay,
Fortnite.
I wouldn't know for Fortnite.
I mean, the thing that I like about Fortnite is if you look at it and you go, okay, he's in a building, I'm in a building, there's no... Somebody has to move, right? No, because you have a rocket launcher, right? Destroy their building. Grenade launcher, grenades. There's also impulse grenades, which are basically like a grenade that propels you forward. On top of that, there's a jump pad that you can place down where you launch up in the air and you can soar in. I mean, there's these tools.
Also, I feel like just if you look at the map of Fortnite versus the maps of PUBG, is that it's like in PUBG, it's not uncommon to run into one other squad and then like you go to the end of the game. And then, there's only 2 or 3 squads left. But in Fortnite, like, I feel like you're guaranteed to run into, like, 2, 3, 4 squads.
Yeah.
Just because of the way that the map is, like, there are not these huge empty spaces. Like, you go from town to town to town. Like, it is not a lot of, like, just nothingness that there is in PUBG. Because there's also no vehicles in Fortnite. So they just don't want the map to be that big. It's like a, gameplay decision that they're consciously making. I prefer that.
They would make alternate maps or something for PUBG that were more, like, action-oriented. I've actually played about maybe 7 or 8 matches of PUBG in the last 2 or 3 weeks. I've just been like playing it. I don't even know why. I just like got the itch to play here and there. And I found out the only way I can have fun with it is dropping into the busiest places. Every time there's gunfire, just running towards it, not caring about winning, and then I'm getting some enjoyment out of it.
See, that's where I feel like Fortnite takes the lead. I mean, honestly, I was shitting on Fortnite, right? So this is coming from a person who didn't like it.
To be clear, the only thing I have against Fortnite is it's almost visual in a way. I don't like the visual aspect of just shitting out buildings and stairs and all this nonsense around you. And I was talking to Scotty earlier, and he brought up the point that in a high-level play, now it's starting to look like people are building real forts as, like, the meta. But I don't like at least the general strategy of, like, all right, this guy's running in the open. First thing he's going to do is just shit out a bunch of staircases around him. It just looks stupid to me, and it doesn't feel like it was ever supposed to be that way. It feels like it's only that way because this was originally a tower defense game.
So I think you're thinking of it like you are PUBG, where, like, lengthy shots are a thing. But it's really not. I mean, unless you have a sniper, you're not going to be taking, like, long shots. It's very much more short to medium range. I mean, one of the guns you always have on you is a shotgun, right? Just because these close encounters are very, very prevalent. And if somebody's shitting out buildings and they're in the middle of a field and you run to them, you can also shit out things in front of you to protect yourself.
I know.
That's the other thing talking about, going back to, like, the map design, is that, like, in Fortnite towns, like, in, like, Tomato Town, there's, like, 9 buildings. And in, like, any town in PUBG, there's, like, 20.
Yeah.
So it's like you're gonna run into these people inside the buildings. Like, everything is really close.
And I love the idea of a game that has a focus on more action and tighter encounters. Mm-hmm. It really just comes back to, like, I feel like it just so happens you can build things because this is an extension of a tower defense, and I feel like there should be other solutions they can come up with.
I don't get why you think that's a bad thing. I don't get why you don't like it. Like, I understand the point that, like, yeah, it wasn't the intended idea.
Because I feel like there are better solutions, and maybe I don't.
What do you mean better solutions? Because that's like, you could say, like, well, rocket jumping wasn't intended by the Quake developers, so they shouldn't do it. It's unnatural.
For example, just like small tunings, like you can't build a staircase unless you've built a foundation. Some logical rules to apply to this system.
It's a video game. Why does it have to be logical?
If you're going, like, it has to make sense.
Because it's good game design. Like,
why is that good game design?
Because it has a logical rules around a system that avoids them people just spamming staircases around themselves.
Yeah, but why do you think that's good game design? Why do you think that's better that they shouldn't build staircases? Like, it's the most popular game in the world right now, so most people think that it's fun.
Okay, that's a whole nother argument where, like, I don't necessarily think because something popular means that it's a good game design. Like, those are two separate things. Like, it means people like it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's good game design.
Okay, but this is not just a popular game, it's the most popular game.
It's not more popular than League, is it?
It's like...
Okay, I mean, in terms of player base, no, but in viewership, it's beating it right now.
For example, League of Legends, like, given I haven't played a lot of it or whatever... But I can look at that, even though I don't like it, because I don't like MOBAs, I can sit there and say, this all makes sense. This is, like, a good example of good game design. This game works on every level that it needs to. Whereas Fortnite, I feel like right now, is just, like, a mistake that could be better.
It sounds like you're just, like, jealous.
It sounds
like you're salty that they accidentally got successful.
They're successful because it's Battle Royale. I think that's a big percentage of
H1Z1.
Is there's H1Z1
is not successful and
would be more successful if it released later with updated graphics.
What?
It's been around longer. It should have the most solid gameplay.
Because the Battle Royale community, and this has been this way since Arma 3 with King of the Hill and all that, they move from one game to the next. I guarantee in 2 or 3 years, like, PUBG and Fortnite will be things of the past when someone else comes up with something new. This community has a history of moving as a whole.
I mean, okay. I think that is a little bit early to say, because as far as I'm concerned, there was DayZ, right? Mm-hmm. Which some people played.
DayZ, a shit ton of people played, and then everyone left it in droves for H1Z1.
Right.
And now everyone left H1Z1 in droves for PUBG, and now everyone's leaving PUBG for Fortnite.
Okay, because in DayZ they were promised a polished game, right? And it wasn't, and it didn't get updated. Yeah. And then the main problem with DayZ is it ran like garbage because it wasn't built, or at least the mod wasn't built on an engine. And then even the standalone wasn't built on a good engine. So when H1Z1 came out, right, they were saying, hey, we're building this as a game, Battle Royale. We meant it to be this game.
Yes.
Everyone thought, okay, this is going to be a Battle Royale game that's going to be good.
Wait, for what game? H1Z1?
Yeah.
The H1Z1 actually started as a zombie game.
No, I know, but I'm saying, like, they built the engine as that kind of game.
Sure.
So DayZ wasn't, and then the standalone wasn't, and then H1Z1 turned out to be a flop, and then PUBG came out, right? And they were like,
H1Z1 wasn't a flop at all. It was H1Z1 King of the Kill was not as popular as PUBG.
It was more polished than DayZ, right?
Yeah.
But it was only played because it was the only thing on the market. As soon as PUBG came out, people flocked to PUBG because it was a better polished game, right?
Yes.
For the most part, and then had, like, tighter controls. And then, at this point, it's kind of just like Fortnite's coming out, and so it's an even more polished version.
Yeah, like, part of them being polished is that all those shitty games before that died were not made by a company like Epic that has, like, a way fucking massive budget.
Sure.
Also, the reason, like, a major reason that League and that Fortnite are as successful as they are is that they are free-to-play games that you can play on a toaster.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's fair, and I think that's what is driving Fortnite's success.
On console, and specifically PS4.
Yeah, and I think that all those are factors that are a huge percentage of Fortnite's success, far more than it's what I consider, like, somewhat failing game design. I think that explains its success more than the...
There are plenty of other games that are free to play, widely available on every console, even more than Fortnite, that are not successful.
Though. Not Battle Royale games.
What was that one fucking guy? The guys who made Paladins made their ripoff.
It's not
out yet. That shit will come out and fucking flop too.
I mean,
maybe. I don't know.
It's high res. It'll probably.
Yeah, it'll probably be fine. And also, it could just be that could be the next big Battle Royale game, and then we'll just be talking about Fortnite. But why everyone left Fortnite for Paladins?
I'm telling you, like you're acting like people are just leaving it to leave it, but it's because there's a more polished, better game.
I believe that people are leaving PUBG to play Fortnite for two big reasons. Really, is that PUBG is a little inaccessible because its roots are very much based on like a milsim context. It's very much a milsim, which means slower gameplay, less interaction, and also because it's not released on all platforms. I believe those are the three primary reasons that people are leaving PUBG for Fortnite, and not necessarily that Fortnite is somehow like inherently more polished, because PUBG is pretty damn polished right now. It doesn't even look like the same game that we released in early access.
How's the optimization now?
Optimization, I mean, on a 970, I'm pushing 100 FPS at all times.
I mean, the problem with that is it might just be a little bit too late. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, Fortnite was lucky. It was like a right time, right place kind of deal, because their initial game, right, was some, a large tower building zombie defense game, right? And I guess it just lent itself to having a ton of players on the map. I'm not exactly sure how game engines work and if you have to like program it from the ground up to have like a ton of players, but I mean...
And again, my only criticism of Fortnite right now is simply that I feel like the building stuff is shoehorned in and there's more they can do to make it better. I feel like is valid.
Yeah, they're working on it though.
Yeah, and I'm sure maybe they'll get it to a place where I can look at it and just be like, this doesn't feel like something that wasn't even it just doesn't feel designed for it.
I guess you should just play it. Listen,
yeah, I'll play more.
We'll rock the duo ladder. Me and Matt, see you at the top. We're gonna get dubs the entire time. 100 wins in a row. It's gonna be good. But you haven't been playing Fortnite. You've been playing Path of Exile.
I've been playing Path of Exile every single waking moment that I have not been doing schoolwork.
Tell me about it.
Which has not accumulated to much time. Pokemon. Path of Exile.
You mentioned this to me. I don't understand. You're going to have to explain it to me like I'm an idiot.
Okay. Like you're an idiot. Path of Exile is a video game where you click on monster.
You know what I meant.
Do you want me to speed up for you?
How is it? Are
you sure?
Why are you saying it's like Pokemon?
Oh, you want that part of it?
Yeah, because it's a new league.
Well, you have to understand the like 400 hours of material before you can understand Pokemon. Don't you know this?
Well, then let's just quit with the path. What do we got next?
What? The cycle continues. I think you have a bone to pick with Path because this is like the third time that I can.
Let's hear about it. Let's hear about the Pokemon. Let's hear about it. I like Pokemon.
Basically, there's monsters out in the world. They glow red. You throw a net down to capture them, and once you capture them, you can go to basically kind of like this zoo. And in the zoo, Ian, you can click the blood altar, and then in the blood altar, depending on the beast you've captured, you can craft like specific items.
Do you ever feel bad killing a beast?
You don't kill them because you sacrifice them. You sacrifice.
Yeah. Do you ever feel bad? And you're like, that guy's cool.
No, because it's Path of Exile is a game about numbers. They aren't beasts. They're dehumanized or de-anthropomorphized. I think that's the word I'm looking for.
So we were talking about Vermintide 2 and how it doesn't feel good.
Yes.
Path of Exile, listen.
Yeah.
Path of Exile doesn't feel good to play for me.
Intentionally.
What? How? What? That's that game design. What do you mean? Why would they intentionally be like, I don't want you to feel good?
No, this one is genius game design because it forces all the plebs like you and I in a way so that only patrician minds like Matt can handle a game of the brilliance level of Path of Exile.
I know. Not many people can handle this game. It's very difficult.
Okay, explain to me. We may be getting off track, but explain to me why.
This is not off track.
Why it feels good. Why they intentionally made it feel bad to play.
Okay. I believe that feels bad, especially playing in the beginning, because your character is supposed to be like weak. It's supposed to be your character's supposed to be a mess. You feel a power curve in that game that you can't feel in another game. You go from like 0 to God.
Hero? Oh.
to God.
That was a perfect opportunity.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to be that corny.
Aww.
Okay, you go from 0 to hero in a way that, like, you don't experience in Division or anything like that. Like, Division, it kind of scales with you. So, like, the difficulty, at certain points, you're going to feel really powerful when you get, like, a new piece of gear or whatever. Path of the Exile is more just like this exponential curve where in the beginning you are just like this fucking pleb that can't kill shit. Mm-hmm. And then by the end you just become this like map clearing god.
But that's the same in like any ARPG.
Not really. Like Diablo 3 scales with you.
Yeah, and it also feels good to play.
Sure,
I mean, you also power up, like in Diablo 3, right?
Path of Exile feels like shit to play in the beginning with, and they could definitely make it better. It's just because it does play, and Diablo 3 is in its own class with, like, gameplay, right? Like,
it is Blizzard.
Combat in that game feels better than Path of Exile at the end. I'll give
It's
Diablo.
Blizzard. I mean, it's to Blizzard. Be expected.
But Path of Exile, as your character grows stronger, is not nearly as far off from Diablo 3 in terms of gameplay as it is in the lower levels. As you get further in the game.
But it's just like, it's such a huge, because, I mean, there's 10 acts to the game.
Yeah.
And it's such a huge investment to even get to
it's a huge investment. And, I mean, like, I could maybe loosely compare it to Eve, where it's just like, you got to play a lot of it to get it. And when you invest more into it, the more it gives back to you. I mean, I don't stick with games that often beyond Rocket League, and Path of Exile is a game I'm about to break 500 hours in.
So would you disagree with previous Matt and say it's a bad decision to make it feel bad at the beginning of the game?
I don't think they made it feel bad. I feel like, it's
I'm going to take a win, Sirius and I. 1, Matt, 0.
I feel like with Path of Exile, it's a lot more complicated. It's a lot more complicated.
I don't know if the mics can pick that up, but we just high-fived. All right, explain to me. Okay, new season, Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
What's the point?
The main point is you have a zoo, and there's monsters in the wild, and you capture them, and then you can sacrifice these monsters to craft, like, different types of items. So if you want this really good item, you go capture these 4 monsters, and then you sacrifice them, and you can get an item. The main purpose of it is to kind of take a little bit of the RNG out. Like, they always introduce these league mechanics that lower the RNG a little bit.
I feel like that's a really good idea. And also, just personally, for some reason, capturing things and, like, holding a collection and being able to see them. Like, it's like you can see them physically.
You have different zones in your zoo, basically. When you go in them, there will be cages, and in all those cages, you can see the different monsters.
I feel like that's a really cool idea.
It's really, I don't think it's executed super well. There's some issues around, like, capturing animals or beasts is a little difficult with the nets. They don't respond very well. But
like as on purpose, or
no, not on purpose. Like, it was released poorly, and the day after, the lead developer Chris Wilson was all over Reddit saying that he was sorry that it released in this state and that they're working on fixing it and what they're going to implement to fix it, such as nets that will capture dead animals that you can buy. Some other fixes like that. The main praise I can say for it is it's totally different than anything anyone's ever done in an action RPG before.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a risky thing to do, to put this type of system into an ARPG, and I'm willing to forgive that it doesn't work 100% all the time because it's really ambitious for this type of game.
Yeah, and I mean, like, but games working at release as they're intended has, like, not happened for years.
Yeah.
So it's not outside the realm of normality.
Yeah.
For that to be the case, especially because Grinding Gear Games is so good with just, like, it's Grinding Gear Games, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're just so good with, like, the cash op and then sticking with their game and development. I mean, Diablo 3 has been around, I think, longer, correct?
I think Path of Exile was up before Diablo 3, but maybe only by either released a few months before or after, but it was very unknown compared to Diablo 3. I remember people being like, Diablo 3 or PoE leading up to, like, Diablo 3's release. And then was the times that, like, the real money auction house on Diablo 3 and everything.
Oh my god, yeah.
October 23rd, 2013.
So Diablo 3 released first.
Okay. Path of Exile released.
It might have been a beta.
And there was an open. You could play it before its official release date on Steam.
I remember getting really hyped about this game and then, I'm all about that how it feels, right?
Yeah.
And then I played the game and it didn't feel good, and then the map was kind of garbage.
Yeah. With Diablo 3, what you see is what you get, and the main thing I'll say about Path of Exile as a whole is you can kind of decide how much you want to. You can make it as complicated or as simple as you want to. I'm running trades all day. I have like bar graphs up. I have spreadsheets for it. You don't have to do that.
Did you play Eve?
Yes.
Okay, so that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So a 200-page notebook.
Sure.
This shit,
yeah.
Fucking.
Yeah.
We were talking about Subnautica last week, and you just didn't do anything fun. It's all coming into place.
I like games that have infinite depth, and you can choose how much you want to dive into that stuff.
Okay.
How much you want to climb into that fucking nasty ass like spaghetti sauce. Just like what the I don't know, it's a weird analogy.
Nasty ass spaghetti sauce.
Hell yeah. How far you want to dive into that. I like games with kind of not upfront.
So you played most of the leagues, correct?
Yes.
Would you recommend, like, if I'm a new player, should I get in on this league, or is this a pretty rough one?
It's hard to say. Sometimes you don't know till the league gets further in whether it's good for new players or not.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the mechanics behind this one are a little bit more complicated than past leagues, whereas like past leagues, you just run over a portal and then it would spawn monsters and then you killed them, and that was like the main league mechanic.
Yeah, but I mean this one's just as much as just like, is it like if I pass through Act 1 and I don't catch a certain monster?
No.
Okay.
No, you can't be punished for any league. You cannot be punished for not interacting with the league mechanic. Some people skip it entirely. Some people will not capture a single monster this entire league, and that's fine.
And you only need it to get certain items, right?
Yes, but those certain items are accessible through other means too.
Okay, so it's
just to help.
I got you.
It's just like an optional helpful thing that's fun if you want to interact with it.
Anything else you wanna say on Path of Exile?
It's a good game, but like you said, that initial experience is rough, and if anyone wants to sit down and play Path of Exile, I suggest they have a decent chunk of time to dedicate it to initially, or you're going to have a bad time.
So Matt recommends it to people that hate themselves.
I would say you need at least probably 25, 30 hours in Path of Exile before you're likely to get it.
That's so much time.
I know. It's an investment, but it's, yeah.
You know, I kind of touched on Diablo 3 earlier, but there's rumors.
Just rumors.
Just rumors.
Just rumors.
It may release on the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. That feels like a good market.
Why not? I mean, like, honestly, I don't know if does it require a constant online connection? Do we know?
Yes.
Yes.
So
well,
I guess
as it is now, it
yes,
does.
It did historically.
Yes. Up to this point, on everything it's released on, it requires, which is PS4, Xbox, and PC, it requires online connection.
If they somehow get rid of that, this would be really cool.
Yes, that's a good point.
If they're like, yeah, I mean, you can just do whatever the fuck, and if you want to play with other people, then yeah, you gotta connect to the internet. But if I can be, fucking kicking it at Starbucks and be playing Diablo 3 on my Switch while sipping on my Americano or whatever.
I mean, I guess I have to imagine they would have to.
Right? Because, like, that feels like such a good market for that game.
If they do it.
If they do that, yeah.
But then that opens up the whole can of worms with Diablo 3, where they had, like, Diablo 2, sorry, where you have BattleNet and then other multiplayer. And then, like, other multiplayer ends up being shit tons of, like, hat characters and items. Because the second you make an ARPG offline is the second everyone is using trainers and modifying characters online, which is fine if, like, you're cool with that stuff.
Right.
But, like, the multiplayer becomes a mess, like, the second you bring that offline character into online.
I wonder if Blizzard could do it. Blizzard can never go wrong, dude.
I mean, that's just inherent. Like, there will be online, like, hacking shit. If
Maybe you can only,
characters.
like, save your character if you, like, store it online.
But then you would need an online connection.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if I'm taking a foray out into the real world, right, and then I come back to my house,
you leave your house, you modify the character, you come back, and then just updates the modified character.
I have no idea, man.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I'm not super into, like, Grim Dawn, for example, or Titan Quest. Even though I love them and they're great games, playing them online is just a no go for me, because you join a game and then all of a sudden someone's traded you like 20,000 amazing items. I mean, you can deny it, but then you're playing with them and they're killing things in one hit.
Yeah, you might as well.
Yeah.
That's how peer pressure works, by the way.
Yeah, essentially.
Don't do drugs.
I want to one-shot everything, so.
Do drugs.
Or do drugs. Casually Toxic here. We all think you should do drugs.
Hey, speaking of Nintendo, there's a Direct tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Is there?
Nintendo Direct.
It's supposed to go over Mario Tennis Aces.
Yeah, that's the one that they put up there as the marquee lineup, but they're going to talk about other shit, and I'm interested in that other shit. I'm also interested in Mario Tennis. Because that's a classic, dude. The first game to feature our boy Waluigi.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's what he was invented for. Mario Tennis on the N64.
Damn. Waluigi,
and he's
the
good in that game too, but not as good as Boo. Boo's OP. If you played Mario Tennis 64, the trick shot, Boo was OP. And then Mario on GameCube was also good. Mario Tennis.
I think I played that one.
But
I don't think I played it on
didn't
N64.
play. I think they made another one or a handheld one maybe.
How often are Nintendo Directs happening now? It feels like every other month right now.
Yeah, every couple months. But the thing about a Direct is that like sometimes they do Directs that's like, this is the Fire Emblem Direct, and it's actually only 10 minutes and they only talk about Fire Emblem.
Okay, that's fair.
So like this one, I don't know. They haven't said. I don't think it's going to be a major Direct. It's probably going to be like maximum
Wasn't
30
Direct
minutes.
originally just a way for Nintendo to not go to E3? And it was like running
well, they
alongside
started it before
E3?
E3, but that was like the idea that like I don't know. I think that going to E3 is like a waste of time.
It's definitely becoming more of a waste of time.
Yeah, so they're just like, we'll just show you our games. They're at Nintendo's still at E3. You can still play games that are coming out.
They just don't have a press conference.
Yeah, they just don't have a press conference because they're like, it's fucking stupid.
It's not
and
that E3 is becoming a waste of time as much as press conferences.
Like I can't tell you how many times I like fucking like watching like every Xbox, every E3. They're like, oh, Forza, here's a real car, and it's like, damn, that's a car,
real car,
dude.
and then they
like,
talk.
like this real car is in Forza. It's like sick, dude.
That Xbox One X presentation where they're talking about the vapor chamber.
But they do that shit every year.
Wait,
every year
what is a vapor
happens.
chamber?
When they were giving the presentation for the Xbox One X at the last E3, they said there's like a vapor chamber inside the Xbox One X for like cooling or whatever. I don't know what their point is.
It's just like a pocket of air.
Some dumbass was just like, it's a good idea to say vapor chamber.
We don't have
Vaping's big right now, so we should throw in vape somewhere. Xbox and vaping.
The Xbox One X coils are insane.
Yes. The quad coils.
I think it's a good idea though to have this like this little direct that you can just we're gonna announce this and this in this like kind of way, and then it's just like a set block of information, right? And it's not like E3, it's not kind of off the cuff. I know they practice a lot, but I mean still it's a live event, things go differently, so I don't know, I feel like it's a really good idea.
Are they going to discuss how many teraflops the Switch has? Because that's what I want to see.
Probably 0 teraflops.
I want 10,000 for teraflops
so it says
minimum.
New Nintendo Direct featuring upcoming Nintendo Switch and Nintendo 3DS games, including new details on Mario Tennis Aces.
You guys think Metroid Prime 4 is going to be at this E3?
Are they ever going to? Did they
announce
that?
it.
Oh, okay.
I wonder.
You guys are Nintendo experts.
E3. Will it
I'm
be?
not.
I am. I grew
Sirius
up
is
playing every Nintendo console and game. And
all right. Sirius is the in-house Nintendo expert.
Boy.
I'll fuck with some Metroid Prime 4 though. That's a great game.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or
I would not
other
be
ones.
optimistic about
Come on,
seeing
man.
Metroid Prime.
Isn't the last Metroid Prime people were super hyped on the Wii one?
Yeah,
Corruption. Yeah.
That was the last Metroid Prime.
Yeah, they didn't make any more. Metroid Prime.
I thought they made another Metroid game that came out recently that people didn't like.
I thought that was supposed. No, and then the other one, Samus Returns.
Oh, Samus Returns is a remake sort of Metroid 2, which I heard was good.
What did Metroid 2 come out on? I played Super Metroid. That's what
NES.
Okay. I played the one on Super Nintendo.
Metroid 1 and 2 were NES, and then Super Metroid was Super Nintendo.
Okay.
What about, alright, who's taking bets? Are we going to see some gameplay for Death Stranding at this E3?
No. It doesn't exist. I don't know.
What do you think?
Gameplay?
No CGI 7-minute trailer.
We're calling the long discussion we had about release here.
You think we're...
I bet they'll show gameplay. It's not going to come out for a while, but I bet they'll show like a really short bit of just like walking. Probably no combat.
I wonder if Kojima's just like, or not Kojima, but Konami's just like, shit, we probably should have gotten rid of that.
I want to recall the conversation we had, I think, from episode 10 about release date. If you guys remember you guys don't.
I don't remember what I just said, to be honest with you.
That's fair. We were all like debating between like 2019 and 2021. I think I was on the 2021 side.
I've changed my mind. It's 2018. It's coming out 3 months from now.
I feel like they shouldn't.
Maybe they won't even show anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they're just like, hey, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but hey, we showed you one thing this year, so fuck you. You're
You don't
done.
like the baby in the dude's throat? I don't care.
I feel like that's fair because if they oversaturate everyone with like this promotional material so long before it comes out, it's just gonna people are.
Did you guys see the Oscars?
No.
Fucking Guillermo del Toro won Best Director and Best Picture.
Shape of Water.
That's like a dude who would have made PT with Kojima.
Which is just ridiculous.
His speech was like the most like humble, amazing.
I love that dude.
He's so fucking cool.
Has anybody seen The Shape of Water?
Yeah.
I haven't seen Shape of Water, but I've seen like
I saw it.
and stuff.
Good?
I'm going to see Shape of Water now.
Shape of Water was good to great. It was a little.
But is it
standard.
Oscar worthy?
Yeah. It's safe. Like, it's safe and not safe. It's Del Toro, so it's really visually interesting, everything. It's just the plot is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Like, nothing in there is going to blow your mind, but it's just really fun to watch.
Did you guys see 3 billboards?
3 billboards.
No, I
3
haven't.
billboards outside Ebbing.
Oh,
Missouri.
no.
I don't even know what it's about.
That's the best movie I saw all year.
Really?
Yeah.
Should I go into it not knowing what it's about?
I mean, you can know the general idea is that this woman in a small town in Missouri, her daughter was like raped and murdered and burned alive, and the police like did like a little investigation, but then they like never found the dude. So she gets pissed off. It's a really small town, so she rents these 3 billboards. It just says like "fuck you, cops. Why didn't you find her?" And then like the whole town gets up in arms because it's like a really small town. And it's just about all the characters and what happens from there.
Damn.
It's really, really good.
The only thing I'm itching to see right now is Annihilation, but I have not got around to it.
That's a book. You know, you can just read the book.
It's based
Which
on
one's
a book.
Annihilation?
Annihilation's by the
Is
director.
that the Deus Ex Machina one?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's director of Ex Machina.
Yeah, Ex
with
Machina,
Natalie
yeah.
Portman and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
weird jungle alien.
I
shit.
heard it's
Yeah, I'll
good,
see
but
that
they
shit.
released it. They released it in January, right? Or is it February? They released it in some
February.
downtime for
February.
movies where like you just dump out.
Well,
shit
February
movies.
is supposed to be an uptime, or it's trying to be an uptime with Black Panther and Deadpool in previous years. They're trying to make February like.
That's like big box office stuff. We're talking about smaller movies.
Sure, yeah.
You know.
That's kind of crazy that they like it. I heard it's good, but I guess they had no confidence in it.
I don't know. That's a bunch of like film stuff that I'm not aware of.
I don't think that Ex
like,
Machina did that well in the theaters when it came
But it
out.
did
I think it
really-
like became bigger
Yeah, it's a cult
afterwards, but like when
classic.
it first came out, it wasn't. That
I was listening to
successful.
Giant Bomb, and there was advertisements for Ex Machina on Giant Bomb. Like they
Oh, wow.
targeted like people that play games or like
Mm-hmm.
study CS and stuff like that. And then it blew up from there, and I think it got either won or got nominated for a Golden Globe.
Wow,
By the end of the year.
Annihilation. Hit us up. I'll sell you a spot for $1. I'll advertise your movie. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, right.
But no, kind of going back to E3,
Kojima.
Konami, Kojima. They released Metal Gear Survive.
Yeah.
Has any? I mean,
No.
I haven't played it. Have you
No,
played it?
no one cares because it's
no one
it's the
really
first
cares.
Metal Gear without
The
Kojima.
one thing I've heard is that people are like,
that's
"Oh,
not
if they didn't call it Metal Gear, it'd be good." And like, I gotta tell you, man, they called it Metal Gear, so I don't want to hear that shit.
Right,
Like
yeah.
people say that shit all the time about all kinds of games. Like, "Oh, well, it's a good game, it's just not a good Zelda game." And be like, "Fuck you, man! They called it Zelda, so call it shitty." Like they called this game Metal Gear. It's
yeah,
shitty
when
compared
you
to
give
Metal Gear
something
games.
a name associated
yeah.
with a brand or a legacy,
Yeah,
like
it's
it's
just like-
that's
You
inviting
pick.
criticism.
It's not like, oh, it had to be called Metal Gear. It's like, no, they put the name on there.
Yeah.
So you fucking.
I mean, at this point, after like all the controversy surrounding Konami and Kojima, no one's going to like praise this game. They're just milking Metal Gear.
You think it was just doomed? Like even
Yeah.
if, I'm saying hypothetically, even if it was fucking incredible.
I don't know the sales numbers or anything on this game. I'm just assuming this game is fucked because there's no Kojima, and without Kojima,
I'm fairly sure it
people-
flopped in the UK.
I'm
or
sure it
something.
did.
I think only Japan sales matter on that game.
That's pretty fair.
When I think of Metal Gear Survive, I think of Metal Gear without Kojima, and I mean, maybe I'm alone in that, but I think most people are probably like, if there's no Kojima, it's not Metal Gear.
I guess I haven't played any of them, right? So I don't have like a
You've never
attachment
played
to the series.
any Metal Gear Solid?
No.
I only played the first one.
Really? Oh, Metal Gear Solid is interesting.
All right.
I mean, I want to play it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll play it at some point.
It's
in
just
my
a
life,
loaded
probably.
topic. If you go back and play the old ones, the gameplay like has suffered terribly through the years.
Which is what I
People who
imagine.
still think that like 3 is like one of the greatest games of all time.
3,
Snake Eater.
it just depends. This is like the Final Fantasy argument in a way,
Yeah.
where like some people say
Yeah, but
7.
not just saying like best in the series, like one
Sure.
of the greatest games of all time. Snake
Sure.
Eater.
I always found 2 better than 3, but I don't know.
I thought 2 was supposed to be the worst one.
See? There you go. So I like Sons of Liberty the best. Sons of Liberty, like, set the stage for all the craziness that would follow.
Who knew people could have different opinions?
I know, it's crazy.
Doesn't make sense. Yo, what if one day we wake up and the internet's just, like, a good place? You guys ever think about that? Like, what if everyone's like, I respect your opinion, and I have my own personal opinion?
That shit would literally never happen.
I know, but what if it did? How crazy would that be?
I feel like if that did happen, if we're going down this very hypothetical, like, line of thought, that at that point, like, the government has intervened, and there's now, like, a face and identity behind everything you post on the internet.
I feel like that would
so,
be
like,
better.
anything you ever say, they know who you are exactly and know what you look like and everything, and then people start censoring themselves because there'll actually be, like, some responsibility for their actions on the internet.
I guess I get that I kind of went off there on like a what if scenario.
And I gave you full.
I would be interested.
What if?
It would be interesting. I'm just saying, like, if we all had to use our actual names and faces, like you're saying, I mean,
then people would be held accountable, and then people wouldn't be so shitty.
Use the internet. That would happen. People would just not use the internet. Well, stupid ass people would still use the internet, but
I feel like even it's so integrated with, like, you can't avoid it for work and everything else in this world.
Yeah, but for your own personal time, I would.
For your own personal time, sure. Then you just, like, start.
It's like how many of us have bought a Google Home or Amazon Echo or whatever.
That's fair.
You know, none of us have.
Yeah, I feel like that shit.
Like,
but then, like, yeah, plenty
of people do, but.
Just anecdotally, I assume a lot of the people buying those things are in an older age bracket. Like,
they just don't give a shit. Honestly,
yeah.
I feel like that's what it is. People just don't give a shit.
Google, bring up.
I ain't got nothing to hide.
Porn.
All right, dude.
Yeah, I mean there's definitely like a problem with fucking, you know, like censorship or not censorship, but you know what I'm saying, like a
government
privacy. Yeah.
I was gonna say complacency.
But I mean, I don't know, man.
Problem, people not giving a shit.
I don't know. I don't have the answers, believe it or not. But shit, guys.
Oh damn, dude, that was my last hope. Hopefully, Ian was gonna sort this out for us.
I know. I've already been contacted.
Depending on Ian.
I already turned down the president. You know, I was like, Trump, listen. I don't know, dude. I just don't know. I'm only fucking Platin League, man. I don't know what else I can tell you.
I can talk to him.
One other thing I want to talk about, real quick, boys and girls. Battlefield started the Battlefield 1, I guess. Started this whole train of, like, going back. We're no longer going ahead in the future. Ahead in time. Now we're going in the past. We're going back to the roots. Battlefield 2, or the new Battlefield, is going to be supposedly World War II.
I just like, in my mind, I'm just like, we have just begun the cycle.
Yeah, do people like Battlefield 1?
I thought so. I thought it was really
Battlefield's 1. I'm just pointing out that, like, I wonder if this is going to be a cycle now. We started with World War II. We proceeded all the way to future stuff. Now we're going back to World War I. Call of Duty World War II.
Look, man, just somebody let me know when they make Battlefield 1842.
Yeah, I want to play in this.
And you, like, stand in a musket line and you shoot, and then you stand and wait to get shot at, and you hope that they miss. Yeah. And then some, like, fucking general leaves behind you, like, telling you shit.
The musket balls go 90 degrees upwards.
And you can play, instead of medic, you play, like, fucking drummer boy, and you just, like, drum on that shit.
That's what I want. But
were they allowed to shoot, like, drummer boys and whatever? Or
no,
were they kind
people
of like
didn't shoot banner holders. Or you're not supposed to, but I'm sure people did. Because, like, you know, what they teach you in school is not what really fucking happens. You know, no one ever tells you, like, oh, yeah, and then after they won that battle, they went in and raped everybody in the town. Like, they don't tell you that shit in school, but that's what happened. Like, they burned all your shit down and raped all the women.
That would be a little hard to read or hard to write in a history book and just be like, all right, little Johnny.
Yeah, but it's, like, for real. Like, you should know that shit
Yeah, but
happened.
I mean, like, if you're in second grade, you don't want to be like, oh, and then our heroes of the story went into this town and fucked everybody
up. That's what they should do, though. They should, like,
to children.
Yeah. So, like, you know, Christopher Columbus came over and they made a sweet deal and ate some turkey. It's like, that's not what happened, man. No. He cut people's hands off.
I mean, he made a sweet deal for himself. You know, he got a necklace out of it. I don't know. I mean, all right. How about this? While we're fixing the internet, right, and this problem with privacy, we're gonna fix education. We say that Christopher Columbus made a sweet deal when they're younger. Boom. Middle school, high school, we're telling them he's raping guys. All right.
Hell yeah.
We just go over it again.
That's like how it was. I remember taking like
feed people contradictory information throughout their education.
It's not contradictory just to be like, oh, I mean, it was a little white lie.
That's fair. It's additional details, I guess.
Yes, he killed a lot of people, but also
kind of contradictory.
You discovered this place. I don't know.
I discovered.
Whatever. You guys, you get what I'm saying.
Speaking of the cycle that I was speaking about with these games, is now I'm just wondering if in 5 years or 6 years we're just gonna see like Modern Warfare 5. Like we're just gonna work all the way up to the future, and then start back at World War I, World War II, or 1842, and then continue back to the future, and we're just gonna be on this like infinite loop.
When was the last big Vietnam game?
That's
Battlefield Vietnam.
No, big one or small one?
I mean the Red Orchestra one.
Tripwire, the developers over in Alpharetta, Georgia.
Why do you have to go southern? We're all in Georgia.
Because
that's how they talk down.
That's where we're from. That's how they talk over in the Alpharetta, Roswell suburb. No one has any idea where these places are. Tripwire, developer of Killing Floor, released Viet something. They released Rising Storm Vietnam. Yeah, Viet Cong. So that was the last.
No,
that was the last public like Vietnam release worth of shit.
Yeah.
Damn,
we're gonna suck.
You think like kids 20 years from now are gonna be bitching about noob tubes?
Wait, why did this game suck?
Well, just like the Milsims, the people who play them.
Oh my! Fuck you, dude. Whatever.
Yeah, we had this whole thing when you were talking about fucking whatever the hell it's called. Squad.
Do you guys all like PUBG, right?
No, it's not the game. I'm talking about the people who play the game.
You guys hate people that play PUBG?
Just the other day, Ubisoft will now ban players for racist, homophobic speech in Rainbow Six Siege. It's like, now? What do you mean now?
Like 3 years.
I thought they were banning people could just fucking hard R the N-word, and it was just like, who cares? It's like, Ubi, please.
But PUBG is a milsim. Like, yeah.
I don't hate it because it's a milsim.
That's fair.
Because of the people who play the game.
That's fair.
Just hate the people. I just hate all the people. All right, I think that's it. I think we did.
Any closing thoughts?
Milsims are bad.
Good call.
Play games where the main character is a trans girl with blue hair.
Yes.
And you have to fucking.
What game is that? What game is that?
Exactly. There's a large.
Game makes a lot of people angry. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, there's a large gap in our fucking civil gaming sphere.
People that play milsims are bad. Milsims are good. The people that play milsims are sometimes bad in a funny way.
Sometimes funny, but
what if we play milsims though? So are we those people?
You would quickly become those people.
Shit.
I've played a decent amount of milsims, and like sometimes there'll be some like 40 or 30 to 40-year-old like army vets in there.
Yeah,
and it is real then.
Yeah,
this is a real experience. I feel my legs like clenching and becoming sore from playing this game. I'm running through the dirt.
No, yeah, because people like to RP in those games, but like because it's specifically Vietnam, like they really want to RP, so like we'll start calling people gooks, and that's like, yo, dude, don't do that.
Okay.
Like it's a video game. Like I know you want to like dress up and be like, yeah, I'm in Vietnam. And it's like,
he's just on his computer in full fucking army uniform,
just like in a ghillie suit.
He's
like
eating fucking rations.
Yeah.
Hold on, guys.
Like, hey, man,
my mom made rations.
Real Vietnam. Why don't you go and just like murder a town of children? Like,
Sirius is endorsing murdering a town of children.
No, I'm endorsing the belief that Vietnam was adult soldiers versus children.
I don't like Sirius's history. I like where Columbus came over and was like, "Yo, what up? We should share this." I like that one.
I mean, I don't know. There was a bunch of controversy around Battlefield World War One because they were just like, "This is not accurate." World War One was awful. Why are you guys glorifying this as a video game?
Are you telling me they didn't have like full knight armor, fucking with a Gatling gun or whatever the hell? Was that in one of the trailers? They just had a knight helmet on.
Well, eventually, I think their response to that outcry was just push even further in that direction to
video game.
But originally, they were trying to make it seem like it was going to be authentic, and that backfired.
Yeah, there's no way you can make authentic fun because then you're just sitting in a trench for
you're just sitting in it. There are speaking of milsims, World War One Verdun is on Steam for like $15, and like that's a World War One milsim where it's kind of what you're talking about with your muskets. You like fire a weapon, and then it takes you like a good 10 seconds to fire it again, and people are just like rushing each other and stabbing each other.
And the one guy has a machine gun, but it only has 200 bullets, and it shoots them all in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm done now. Like...
For the record, I don't enjoy playing Verdun, but like, it's a thing.
Good shit.
Good shit?
Good shit. I think we should call it. This has been Casually Toxic.
Episode 12? Minus or plus 1.
Why is it minus or plus 1?
I don't know. I just like saying plus or minus.
Okay,
1.
yeah, you're retarded. It's episode 12, March 7th, 2018. I hope everyone has a great day.
Look out for that direct. Good news on the horizon.